Let's see what 715 brake horsepower, no roof, 0 to 60 feels like. Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. So as the video title suggests, I am in the Aston Martin DBS Superleggera. So 715 brake horsepower, 663 I think foot-pounds of torque through a 5.2 litre twin turbo V12, which sounds, I don't know if you can hear that, insane. Even though this car weighs 1.9 tons, it will catapult this beast of a car from 0 to 60 in about 3.5 seconds. And it'll frighten Ferraris and Lamborghinis by hitting a top speed of over 210 miles an hour. Let's give it a blast, let's see what that feels like. Foot down, foot to the floor. Oh my god! And you're gone. So, this thing looks incredible. It sounds unbelievable. This car in particular is absolutely covered in carbon. Outside, the interior is covered in carbon, carbon steering, carbon paddles, which are just beautiful. I love a big paddle in these new Aston Martins, but this carbon paddle is just sexual. And anyone who's a petrol head and loves a bit of carbon will get it. It's ultimately like someone's been sick carbon in this car all over it, and it's all the better for it. Obviously, it's not doing anything for the weight because Superleggera means super light, and that it is not. Whoa! But it's fine when you hit these speeds, because all of a sudden the best part of 2 tons comes to a pretty abrupt stop, which is painful on the organs with those massive carbon ceramic brakes. So they are 2 huge ticks: looks, performance, and usability. It just honestly feels like a heavier, bigger version of the Vantage, but with more power, which sounds stupid to say because that's exactly what it is. But it just feels like a big, it feels like a big Vantage. So for me, another huge tick, because I find the Vantage extremely easy to live with. I think interior wise, the carbon is incredible. You know, this has got a bit of a bad rap, this car, for not having the best interior. But what I would say is that the only thing that potentially I don't like is, as much as the Vantage or as much as other cars, is the center console. I think it's slightly dated and very fiddly. You know, when you're driving around, especially when you're new to the car, it takes a lot to decipher exactly what everything is, what everything does. And there's a lot of, rather than kind of tactile heavy buttons where you can click them and know that you've pressed them, there's a lot of kind of touchscreen-esque buttons, which make it quite hard to use because you don't know if they've been fully engaged or not, and if you press one or the other. Let's get on to the gearbox in this car. So it's running the same gearbox, the 8-speed ZF, as my Vantage, and I know the Vantage has had kind of mixed reviews on the gearbox, and given the fact that a car that sits around the 100, 120 up to 150k mark should have a dual clutch gearbox, given that all its competitors from Porsche, McLaren, Audi all have dual clutch boxes. But in the Vantage because the car's lighter, you know, it's not as rapid as this, it kind of gets away with it. But I feel like in a car that weighs this much, with this much power, it does feel slow, especially compared to its rivals. And most notably the 812 Superfast, which is its direct competitor, and where this car is currently sitting, the one I'm sitting in, as a demo would probably be sitting around the 220, 230 mark. So that's putting it slap bang where the where the Ferrari 812 Superfast market is in coupe form at the moment. A good one of those, 220, 230, you'll get one covered in carbon, low mileage, and that of course has the ultra fast dual clutch gearbox. So it does feel a bit lazy. So there's a bit of a lag. An upshift. Upshifts are okay, you know, it still doesn't give you that, but with the downshifts, it is a bit slow. For a car that costs the same as a decent terrace house, I think it's something that does need to be reviewed. So the steering is nice. It's not the most precise, and it doesn't dart in like a GT Porsche, and probably even a little bit more relaxed, should we say, than the even a little bit more relaxed than the Vantage. But I think that's how they're set up differently. The Vantage has got a track mode rather than a Sports Plus mode, because it's made to be an edgier, sharper, almost more track focused car, whereas this, you know, is and has been marketed as a GT. It's a supercar, yeah, but but ultimately this is a GT car. It's a Grand Tourer. So I think the steering feels right for the kind of car it is. It's a bit heavier, it's got a big V12 engine. I think sometimes it might not, you know, you don't always want steering that's as pointy as an F12 or an 812 with rear wheel steering. You don't want that. And this doesn't have rear wheel steering, so you know, it's not the world's most maneuverable car, but I can't complain about the steering on this car. I really can't. So the comfort of this car, I think compared to, you know, its competitors like the F12, 812 Superfast, it is just more of a GT focused car. The damper settings move through three different stages, similar to the Vantage and other new Aston Martins, where it's, in this car, it's GT, Sports and Sports Plus. GT mode for the suspension on UK roads is perfect. Even though this is a heavily turbocharged engine, you get almost seamless power delivery from that engine. you wouldn't know. If somebody told you this is a naturally aspirated V12, you wouldn't question it. I think this does GT extremely well. For a car to live with, that is a great thing if you're daily in this car. Yes, it's expensive, but this is the ultimate GT. It's comfortable, it's ridiculously fast. Apart from the boot space on the Volante, it's practical as far as space, usability. It's got theatre, it makes you feel special, it comes with every conceivable extra. But I think this offers other elements, I really do. This is the ultimate GT car. Right, so we've tested every element of the car that I can think of, except one key element, which is if you're spending this premium on the Volante version of the DBS, you're doing it for one reason, and that is so you can take the top down and enjoy that V12 engine. So let's see what it's like. And just like that, you've got a very, very different animal entirely. Got it in Sport Plus mode, and let's hear that V12. And all of a sudden, all of a sudden, you can hear 715 horsepower sing, and you understand why you've added on that extra weight, lost a bit of handling. Because what you get in return is so much more. All of a sudden, this is a very, very different animal, and I've got a huge, huge smile on my face, bigger than before. Yes. I hope that's coming through on camera, because my God. I tell you, some days I do miss having a convertible car, because you can't beat it when it's like this. The wind in your hair, a V12 singing in the back. What a car. I know I said before, would I buy a Volante over a coupe? Not for looks alone. But this really, really makes me think, because you get so much more of the car, the drama, the theatre that comes with it, with that roof off. So much more. All of a sudden, yes. So once again, thank you very, very much for joining. It's been an absolute ball making this video and spending a few days with this incredible car. Thank you for Nik and the guys at Aston Martin Wilmslow for loaning me this for a few days. It's really given me some food for thought, and it's one hell of a machine. So thank you very much for joining. Please subscribe, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments if you like it, and I'll catch you on the next one.